Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be covering 5 mind-blowing ant facts you won't believe, so let us just get into it. Fact number 1 is kind of weird, and if you've ever heard any other facts about it, please tell me because this is really interesting. Some ants can clone themselves. This was actually discovered in 2019 when scientists were studying the Amazon leafcutter ant. What they found is that these ants are able to clone themselves through a process called automixis. In simple terms, basically each individual in a colony can be genetically identical. All it takes is a queen to enter what's called a state of diapause, where her eggs develop without being fertilized by a male ant. The offspring from this are all clones of the queen, but only female. Now, I didn't think this would be possible, especially not in an insect. I mean, they have to be related in some way, right? But nope, they can clone themselves over and over again infinitely. Even more trippy is that normal reproduction still occurs. So the males mate with the females, but since the females are clones of the queen, they're also sisters, which means the babies born from the mating are also clones of the queen. It's just really strange to me how ants can do this, and even weirder how we just found out. This could potentially be used to clone endangered species, but there are obviously a lot of ethical concerns. Still, though, it's pretty crazy. Fact number 2 is very cool. Ants use a form of natural cement to build their homes. As I'm sure most of you know, ants live in colonies, and typically these colonies are built underground, or at least partially underground. To make their tunnels, ants use a combination of their saliva and a chemical called nordformic acid. Nordformic acid is created by a gland located at the base of the ant's abdomen, and it's combined with the saliva in their mouth to form this cement-like substance. With this, the ants are able to construct their homes, but it doesn't end there. They also use it to transport soil and debris to the surface, which makes their colony look neat and tidy. And it's not just their underground tunnels either. Leafcutter ants actually use it to glue leaves together before carrying them off. This cement can be extremely strong as well, with some reports saying it's stronger than Portland cement. And it's durable too. Some have said that it can withstand up to 10 times its own weight. I didn't know ants could do this, but it's pretty cool. Fact number 3 is both super cool and a bit sad. Ants can control the sex of their babies. Let me explain. So earlier I mentioned how ants can clone themselves through automixis. Well, automixis is actually more common than you might think. A number of different ant species can do this, including the Israeli ant. Now, during the summer, these ants will reproduce sexually like most other insects do. However, during the winter, food becomes scarce and conditions become harsh. During this time, the Israeli ants produce males and females through automixis, which means they don't need to waste energy finding mates. While this may sound nice, it's actually incredibly bad for the species. Because of automixis, the species has lost genetic diversity and has become more susceptible to diseases and changes in the environment. Even more sad is that it seems like this is happening more and more frequently. So while this fact is cool, it's sad to hear that ants may be doomed because of it. Fact number 4 is quite the opposite of the last one. Ants have been around for tens of millions of years. Yes, ants have been on this planet for longer than dinosaurs. The oldest known ant fossil is about 50 million years old, and it was discovered in the US state of Washington. This makes ants older than the Eocene epoch. Fossils of more modern-looking ants have also been discovered in amber from New Mexico, and these are estimated to be 35 million years old. Compared to this, dinosaurs only lived on Earth for about 165 million years. So yeah, ants have been around for tens of millions of years longer than dinosaurs. Fact number 5. If you're a fan of animals, then you probably love David Attenborough. He is literally the voice of nature docs. But did you know that he actually had a really close call with death caused by ants? In 1957, Attenborough was working for the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and he had to film a documentary about ants. In order to do this, he set up his camera on the ground with a remote control and then crawled inside a large anthill. He wanted to film the ants carrying pieces of dead wood back to their colony. But while he was in there, the ants got him. He described it as, quote, "a red-hot poker being jammed into my leg." He started to feel sick, and he was rushed to the hospital where he stayed for 6 days. He was very lucky to survive because at the time there was no anti-venom available for ant stings. Today things are different, and we can treat sting pain with medication. However, this does not work for fire ants. These ants are known to be highly aggressive, and their stings are very painful. It's why in places like Australia and the southern US, where fire ants are present, people are warned to seek medical attention immediately after being stung. And there we have it. Those were 5 mind-blowing ant facts you won't believe. Do you know any others? Please let me know down below. Also, please subscribe if you enjoyed this video and check out some of our other animal videos. Thanks for watching. See ya!